What's up, IndieHackers? This is the second video where I'm going to be reviewing your products, and in this video we are reviewing coder notes. Here I've listed the criteria that I'm going to be using for all products. So number one, what I think your product does versus what you say it does. Secondly, the landing page design. Third, is it easy to get started? Fourth, does it work? Number five, what it does well. And number six, would I pay for it? So over here, I have coder notes opened, and because I didn't receive a one-liner pitch, we're going to go through the landing page. So what I see here, it's a code note repo for your team. So what I like is that it's very simple design, easy to read. There's not a lot of clutter. There's only one call to action. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna actually try and sign up. All right, join beta. I don't know what will happen, but let's keep going. How does it work? It's a search engine. You can have your notes that are kind of code snippets that you could forget. You store them in coder notes. So what comes to my mind is if there's like this weird configuration file or something that is like a one-off thing that you kind of put together, you can store it in coder notes because it doesn't really belong in your code repository. That's what I see kind of like a use case for me. And then finally, Google-like search. That would be an interesting thing. Discoverability is a big thing, especially in larger organizations. When one person is working on one thing, the other person is working on something else. Nobody really knows what people are working on. Discoverability is a major pain. I don't know how advanced the search here is, but it sounds like a cool value prop. Debug once, solve forever. I'm not really sure if this is a good line here because I don't know if you have a debugger here as a feature. It doesn't sound like it, but this line makes me think you might have it, which I don't believe. So maybe you should try and put a different value prop here. Maybe put something, say something about discoverability, collaboration, things like that. I like this one though, learn new concepts quicker. That one speaks well because again, in large organizations, you have usually specialists, people who take only one area and understand it well, but don't know anything about another area. So how can you encourage that collaboration? How can you encourage people to learn from others' work? I think that could be useful. It depends on the execution though, how easy it is for me to learn new things. And then onboarding, I'm not really convinced by this. Onboarding usually in organizations boils down to setting up your local dev environment and running the project and getting through some basic testing procedures and routines. This is usually done from a code repo, not from like notes. I would even go as far to say that using notes for something like that versus committed code that's like very strictly versioned is a bad practice. So maybe what you can put there is again something along the lines of learning, improving skills, discovering new knowledge, or sharing interesting things. For instance, in my company, we use, there's a channel on Slack called Goodreads, and also there is a channel called Engineering, and there we share interesting articles and maybe snippets and things that we find that are for everybody to read and kind of something to get people engaged about different programming languages and things like that. So maybe you could pitch that value prop versus onboarding. Okay, simple and transparent pricing. Well, it is simple, but I have one remark. I don't understand why you're limiting public posts. I feel like every other platform out there allows you to publish as many public things as you want because it helps the platform generate content and thus increase the traffic on the site through just searches on Google and things like that. that would be helpful. Although I kind of understand why you're doing it. It's very hard to do moderation at scale, especially for public content. So that's something you're probably weighing on your end. Okay, access from any device. That's kind of expected, but fine. I would remove this bullet point, but I would keep this one and maybe add something about collaboration or things like that. And then this one is okay. What I would suggest putting there is maybe advanced security, access controls, because for a team or an organization, you would need sort of like a delegation of responsibility, who gets access to what, and can everybody share, can everybody edit notes. Maybe that would be an interesting value proposition for a larger team. Okay, FAQs. Okay, why not use GitHub GIS? That was one of my questions in my mind. So I guess you're pitching the search functionality, which I agree, search is not really the best of features in GitHub and could be vastly improved with a better UX. So yeah, let me actually read through this. Yeah, okay, this is correct. It doesn't understand the intent. Focus on small code snippets. Okay, yeah, that's true as well. So there is no concept of ownership, and like it's not really a team thing in GitHub. I do understand that, but why wouldn't I be able to use a repository? Maybe that's something you could address here. From my perspective, it may be something like you don't need to version control things, so that's a burden. Maybe you don't need that for a lot of things, especially for learning and sharing interesting snippets. Okay, this I understand. Okay, cool. Here, it's nice that you have your picture, but I would potentially put a picture of your friends using the app, sort of like social proof, instead of you. And then contact form, I would get rid of that. And overall, I think on this landing page, what you're missing is like a screenshot of the product or a video, how it works, or like a teaser feature, something about the product itself, instead of just like these illustrations, which are nice. But again, that's what I would like to see on the landing page. Okay, so easy to get started. If I click join beta, I don't get any access. So if I click request, I am greeted with the same form that I already filled in. So I don't think it's super easy to get started here. Let's try and use the link that you posted, which I believe is the link to the actual app. And okay, so we are in the app. It wasn't easy to get started because I had to dig through and find your link, but maybe you're working on that. So in the app, does the product work? Are there any bugs? So let me first try and see and find any obvious bugs. So what I can see is like a list of notes, which is kind of what I expect. And the first thing you're pitching is like search. So let's check if search works. Let's type in something, and yeah, it does work. Okay, so you get some pretty good matches here for Elixir. Let's see if there's any other way to search. I would kind of like to be able to filter by language, maybe backend versus frontend and things like that. If you're pitching search as one of your major features, potentially you could work on like really making it powerful. There's a lot of ways it could be improved comparing to GitHub, so it's your chance to shine. I would definitely point that out. Okay, I can filter by public and team and private, which is cool. This thing is like fix your Z index there. Okay, so I expected to be able to sort of like comment or start a discussion around this. Maybe I have a question for the author of this snippet. Maybe I need more context or a little bit more explanation. I would like to be able to start a discussion regarding one of these. I don't understand why I can edit or delete these, because I don't see how I should have privilege to do it. So let's see what happens. Okay, so instead of using this, maybe you should just hide the button, right? And please don't use the alerts. It looks really unfinished. So let's try and create a note. Okay, well, I think this overall modal could use a little bit better layout. It is readable, it's easy to understand. So let's just see if it works. Okay, I really like that there is this auto completion going on. That's great. Code, I guess. It would be nice to have syntax highlighting here. That's what I kind of expect to happen if I choose the language. And then privacy options. Okay, so let's choose private for now. I don't have any links. Tags are important for search, so you should really work on that. And let's hit create. Okay, I need to be signed in, so let's see if I can do that. All right, so you're using Firebase. I'm gonna log in with my Google. That's great, it worked. So I really like that. And let's try another time. Oh, I really like that this remembered. So great work on that. And let's hit create. Nice. So I can see here now I have syntax highlight, but I wish I had it in the editor. All right, so the product seems to be working. There are some missing features, but overall, I think it could be a nice platform with a powerful search and the ability to discuss things, because I think weird code often brings up a lot of questions. So people like to debate. You should really let them do it. Finally, would I pay for the product? At this point, let's go back to the pricing page. I think it was a little pricey because from my perspective, I believe I could kind of work around my use cases here with something like a GitHub repo. Please keep in mind that there is also GitLab, which is free. They have wikis for like one-off questions. They have repos. Until you have the search really polished and really powerful to the point where I can be like, oh, I would have never found this in GitHub, I would not consider paying, because at this point it's kind of on par, or maybe I missed some other features, but right now I wouldn't pay this amount of money for this product. Yeah, so I do think it has potential, but it depends on that search feature. So yeah, good luck. I think it's a non-trivial problem, but if you do solve it, it's gonna be great. So this concludes the first product that I'm going to be reviewing today, and the next one up is going to be slide to subscribe. So that's going to be in the next video. By the way, you can check out the link to this product Coder Notes in the description of this video, and I'll see you next time. Thanks.